Previously on Survivor UConn. After both tribes merged, the old Moynihan tribe found their members being picked off one by one. Knowing that they were next to go, both Matt and Robbie took penalty votes against themselves in order to win immunity.
Congrats to the two of you. Both of you are immune for this round.
After the NATO alliance of BIJAN, Alex, Heidi, Maddie, and Carolina voted out Hope, Barrett won immunity.
Barrett, guaranteed spot in the final 7. Can't vote for Barrett this week.
Knowing that he was at risk of getting voted out, Robbie tried to get both Alex and BIJAN to flip against Heidi.
My last hope is to try and take advantage of Heidi's penalty vote.
This is my revenge.
Even though Robbie and Matt tried their hardest, BIJAN and Alex decided to stick with their original alliance and voted out the biggest threat in the game. 7 are left. Who will be voted out tonight?
So I wasn't terribly concerned, but seeing your name come up in tribal for the first time is very nerve-wracking. It was exciting, but not fun at all. So.
Post Robbie era is going to be tough. I mean, in the end, it's sort of a good thing that he got out at this point because he's definitely he was a big competitor. He was scheming. I can imagine. I don't know what kind of schemes he had going on, but I know he had something going on, and I knew that if he was around any longer, then that could come back to bite me in the ass. So overall, not as bad as it could have been, but still unfortunate.
It's a little sad because my immediate reaction is, well, that means I'm next. Because if BIJAN and Alex clearly don't want to switch and vote with us, then that means they're going to stick with the other trio and try to get me out.
One thing that really was shady about Robbie was that he promised me a final 3 deal with him, Kira, and me, 5 minutes after I said my first words to him.
But once I told him that Robbie made a final 4 with me, he was like, well, Robbie made a final 2 with me, a final 3 with me, he's just making deals with everybody. I was like, yeah, he's been doing that, where have you been?
Now that Robbie is out of the game, I am curious as to what everyone else is thinking. I'm worried that they might start coming at me and Maddie since everyone knows we're close.
Here's the thing I don't like. Matt knew Robbie was going to be eliminated. Matt knew, I told him, I was like, listen, we're voting Robbie out, it's done.
I think I'll make it past next one.
Yes, it's going to be Robbie 100% next time, especially because he can't play in the immunity challenge. I'm going to give you the idol. You can choose who we vote for.
So at that point, it's probably going to be me, you, Barrett,
Alex, Maddie, Heidi, and okay. Robbie's going to hate me, but Robbie's not going to hate Matt because Matt didn't vote him out, but Matt knew about it. Matt didn't tell Robbie. Matt was trying to distance himself from Robbie, but Robbie doesn't know that. So what am I supposed to do? Bring Matt to the end and then try to expose him?
Do you have the idol on you?
Right now? No. I promise you I have it. It was
okay,
by those 3
You know
flags.
I just gotta ask.
No, yeah. No, I'm trying to think that I didn't even bring it last night with me. I just assumed I'm probably not going to need it. That's why I can't bring Matt to the end now. Probably not. I don't know. I have 3 final 2s that I'm even thinking about. So Matt's number 3 now. Or 4. He could honestly be number 4.
I'm not going to give up. I have a challenge to look forward to and hopefully win, and I think maybe I could just try to work some magic, try to rekindle old alliances, try to make new ones, and do whatever I can to stay in the game.
Let's get it!
TOUCHY subjects. Players answer a series of questions about their fellow contestants on a Google form. With the results tabulated, Ryan will ask the questions again to everyone. If a player displays the answer that the majority put down, they'll score a point. The player with the most points at the end of all of the rounds wins immunity.
Alright, obviously no sharing hands with everyone. Keep it kind of tight, and
This challenge is a favorite of mine from the show, and I was really happy to take part in it. It like exposes like a lot of people's like thoughts about different players.
Yeah, I actually saw this challenge, like I watched it recently on the Real Show, and I was kind of expecting it at this point, so as soon as I heard that's what it was going to be, me and Bijan were actually talking about it.
Once I was reading them, I was like, I know I'm going to get exposed today. Like, I'm fucked. It is not good.
alright. So again, you're trying to guess what the majority got. If you match what the majority responded, then you get a point. Alright, question 1. Who would be the best at surviving on a deserted island? Oh, you can't look at it. Alright, answers please. Alright, Matt says Matt. Bijan says Barrett. Maddie says Barrett. Carolina says Barrett. Heidi says Matt. Alex says Matt. Barrett says Matt. The correct answer is Matt. So everyone that put Matt gets a point. So hold your thing up if you said Matt.
Being best at surviving on a deserted island, I voted for myself for that one. I saw it. I think my biggest claim to it might be that I ate the silkworms almost, like those disgusting bugs and stuff. I think people just see that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I think like physically people see me as someone who could like survive the conditions and stuff, and I consider it a compliment.
Question 2. Who is the biggest liar? Who is the biggest liar? Alright, answers please. Matt says Bijan. Bijan says Bijan. Maddie says Bijan. Carolina says Bijan. Heidi says Matt. Alex says Bijan. Barrett says Heidi. The correct answer is Bijan.
I believe that Bijan got voted the biggest liar just because he keeps telling everyone that he's gonna vote with them, but then he turns his back and never really votes with them.
Yeah. So for biggest liar, like obviously like I knew I was gonna win it, and I voted for myself, like in the poll and like when we were like showing the answers, because it's no secret that I've like been lying for the past 3 weeks.
He will say whatever he needs or whatever the other person wants to hear, so they feel comfortable with him.
He's been going back and forth between groups, taking advantage. He's been sort of like that middleman agent throughout this whole entire thing, sort of a swing vote, if you will.
My philosophy with Bijan going forward is try to work with him, but never trust him, ever.
I feel like Bijan might have been a bit panicked when that came up, but it was inevitable.
But like the thing is, my allies think like I've just been lying to Robbie, which is like good thing. Like Heidi came up to me after, she was like, I didn't vote you for that because like I knew you've been lying, but you haven't been lying to me. I was like, yeah, totally, I haven't been lying to you. But like in reality, like I've been lying a lot.
Question 3. Who is the most likely to be holding on to a hidden immunity idol? Who is the most likely to be holding on to a hidden immunity idol? Alright, answers please. Matt says Heidi. Bijan says Alex. Maddie says Barrett. Carolina says Matt. Heidi says Barrett. Alex says Bijan. And Barrett says Carolina. The correct answer is Alex. Bijan gets a point.
In the actual challenge, I put down Bijan. I mean, I do know he has the idol, but like, I figure that most people would think it would be him or me, because like, we're like two that haven't really been brought up that much in these past votes.
For most likely to be holding on to the hidden immunity idol, I really thought I was gonna get exposed because I thought that they would like, I don't know, fucking Alex like actually put my name down, like, and he knows I have the idol. I don't know why he did that. I mean, I put his name down because He was telling like me and like the rest of like NATO like how much he looked for it and couldn't find it or whatever, and I was like, maybe these girls think that there's a possibility that he does have it. So I happily put his name down for that. I was really happy.
Alright, as an update, we got Matt at 2, Bijan at 2, Alex at 2, everyone else at 1. Alright, next question. Who least deserves to still be in the game? Who least deserves to still be in the game? Tough one. You hate to see your name come up for this one. Alright, answers please. Matt says Carolina. Bijan says Barrett. Maddie says Carolina. Carolina says Carolina. Wow. Heidi says Barrett. Alex says Barrett. Barrett says Bijan. The correct answer is Carolina.
That one was sad. Yeah, Carolina getting least deserving to be in the game. I disagreed with. I said Barrett, just because he hadn't come to challenges.
Barrett said I least deserve to be in the game. That was really a choice because Barrett has no idea what is going on in this game. Because if he had any clue, like he would know that I deserve to be in the game more than him, like by a long shot. He probably thinks because he won like one little challenge with the nuts or whatever, he thinks that he deserves to be in the game. That's not true. That's not the case.
I think I got voted like least deserves to be in the game just because I'm not particularly good at any of the challenges, but somehow I still beat out a lot of great players, and I think, I don't know, I kind of agree, but I mean, I made it here fairly, and I worked just as hard as everyone else.
Really wanted to put Carolina, but I was trying to be nice. Like I was trying to be like a good person. Clearly she deserves to be in the game the least, and like Barrett is like second, but like Carolina's like my friend. I wasn't gonna do that because I didn't want her to feel bad. And Carolina's kind of just seen as like Maddie's like second. And I think she's more than that. I think she's a smart girl, like, and I think she's a good social player. She's so likable, very likable.
I voted for myself for that one because I know I have a lot of haters. So I just kind of expected it.
I don't know a better person to go to the final two with than someone that was voted already least deserving to be in the game.
Alright, after that round, Matt in the lead with 3. Question 5. Who is the biggest threat to win the game? Who is the biggest threat to win the game? Alright, answer please. Matt says Maddie, Bijan says Maddie, Maddie says Maddie, Carolina says Bijan, Heidi says Maddie, Alex says Maddie, Barrett says Maddie. The correct answer is Maddie.
Maddie is the biggest threat because it seems like she's, at least from my point of view, she's kind of pulling the strings for her alliance, and she's a huge physical threat.
But I think there are bigger threats, like BIJAN. I don't think anyone really brought it up, but he's just playing the game really well, and no one's questioning how he keeps like flying and making his way up the ladder.
Question 6. Who is the dark horse candidate to win the game? Who is the dark horse candidate to win the game? Alright, answers please. Matt says Alex, Bijan says Heidi, Maddie says Alex, Carolina says Alex, Heidi says Alex, Alex says Heidi, Barrett says Barrett. The correct answer is Alex.
Alright, yeah, so being labeled the dark horse, I mean, it's a good and bad thing. Hopefully the fact that I was labeled the dark horse, it means that they at least realize that I'm like part of the strategy and stuff. Like, it sucks to be like labeled the dark horse to win.
This is somebody I'm thinking about bringing to the end with me. I'd say a lot. This is why I'm failing public speaking. I did it again. I'm trying not to say the sense. Oh, sorry, let me think. Okay, yeah, so. Fuck. I don't. Okay. I don't want to bring Alex to the end of the game if people think that he's like the dark horse candidate to win, because that means that they think that he might deserve to win. And if, not that I wanted to win that one, but like that kind of tells me that maybe people would vote him over me.
So after that round, we have Matt in the lead with 5, followed by Maddie with 4, and then Heidi, Bijan, Carolina, and Alex. No. Oh, you know, we just update. Everyone else with 3 except Barrett with 2. All right. Question 7. Who is the most attractive? All right, answers please. Matt says Carolina. Bijan says Carolina. Maddie says Matt. Carolina says Matt. Heidi says Carolina. Alex says Heidi. Barrett says Matt. The correct answer is Carolina. Congrats.
Personally, I thought I was the most attractive, but I didn't want to vote for myself.
So Matt, when everyone wrote something down, you got to vote for Barrett for most attractive.
I mean, I wasn't surprised. I thought maybe I could vote for myself, but I thought the safest bet was Carolina.
I mean, I voted, okay, most attractive, I voted for Matt personally. Like, call me. No.
Question 8. Who's the most likely to get voted out next? Who is most likely to get voted out next? Answers, please. Matt says Matt. Bijan says Matt. Maddie says Matt. Carolina. Maddie says Maddie. Carolina says Maddie. Heidi says Matt. Alex says Matt. Barrett says Matt. The correct answer is Matt. So, score update, Matt with 7, Heidi and Bijan with 5. Everyone else a little more behind. Question 9. Who thinks they are running the game? Who thinks they are running the game? Alright, answers please. Matt says Maddie, Bijan says Heidi, Maddie says Bijan, Carolina says Bijan, Heidi says Bijan, Alex says Maddie, and Barrett says Maddie. The correct answer is Maddie. After that round with 3 questions left, since Matt has 8, statistically, Maddie, Barrett, and Carolina are all eliminated. So you guys can just not answer. If you want to put a joke, then go for it. Or you can answer it, I don't know. Okay, so Matt, all you need to do is get 1 right to win. Question 10. Who would you like to hang out with the most after the game? Who would you like to hang out with the most after the game? Alright, answers please. Matt says Bijan, Bijan says Bijan. Wow, Bijan. I'm fun. Maddie says Bijan, Carolina says Bijan, Heidi says Bijan, Alex says Bijan, Barrett says our queen bee Ryan. I'm pretty glad. Last season no one wanted to hang out with me. I'm glad you guys love me. The correct answer is Bijan. Congratulations, Matt. You have won individual immunity for this week. Alright, Matt, you want to come up here? Alright, you want to turn around, do a little thing? Alright. Matt, safe this week, guaranteed spot in the final 6. Can't vote for Matt. Otherwise, one of the 6 of you will be going home this week. I'll see you guys in the next tribal. Alright, that's it, guys.
Winning immunity in this challenge was just awesome. It just was the perfect moment because I went into this mindset, like before the challenge, I kind of just sat by myself and said, I need to win tonight or this game's over for me. So winning it was just such a relief. Really, I don't know how the votes will go. I'm not sure who they'll be directed at now that I'm safe.
Matt winning immunity is technically a good thing because I told him I would use my idol on him this week if he didn't win immunity so that we could flip the game and start getting the girls out. But now that he's like winning things and people are calling him attractive and people are making him like think he's like a good player, like I'm like, I don't want to bring him to the end anymore.
But all I can say is I feel a lot more confident going to the next tribal, knowing I'm immune. And I think it's just awesome. I kind of got to try to keep this momentum going all the way till the end.
Alex, I love Alex, but I think he's very shy. I think people don't trust him inherently just because he's quiet. I've come to trust him a lot more. I've really been enjoying working with Alex. the past week, and I'm looking forward to working with them more moving forward.
You seemed like the most chill, so like.
Oh, thanks.
Like I also feel like I'm like decently close with Heidi. I know Heidi especially, like she loves like blindsiding people. Like she was so excited after we blindsided Kira that like she like binge watched like Edge of Extinction just to catch up. And then I gave her like some season recommendations and she ended up binge watching like Pearl Islands in like 3 days. So like I know like she like really like likes the game.
He's on time. He's like, I really like hanging out with Heidi, like inside and outside the game. I was like, what is going on? Like that is a showman's, and I'm not gonna let it happen. Like I'm going to get rid of one of them because I know that. And honestly, like he probably like really trusts her, and she'll cut him off so quick too. So I gotta do something about that.
I think Matt would have been this week's target if he didn't win. NATO would stick together and get rid of him, but. Now that Robbie's gone and Matt has immunity, I'm assuming our target's Barrett, but this is also a good time for a blindside, if ever, especially with Maddie just winning, the most likely to win the game. So we'll see how that works out for us.
Heidi and I have been talking a lot more, and I think we talked before every vote. I think I trust her, and I never think I think I'd be one of the last people she'd vote out. So I think the next obvious choice was Barrett, as he's the next part of that alliance that we were looking to get out.
I think the 5 who voted for Kira are pretty solid. Definitely me, Carolina, and Heidi, I know, are solid. Bijan, I have a lot of trust in him. And then Alex, I worked with him this whole time. It's just kind of hard to tell with him because he doesn't say much and he's like quiet to himself.
I really like working with the alliance I have now, and I think the people in our alliance are the best equipped to beat Matt. So to get rid of any of our own at this point would be a little bit silly, just because we have to beat Matt. Otherwise, he could go to the very end of this.
Yeah, I think after Matt won that challenge, I don't know, it could have gone worse, but it was a bit nerve-wracking to see that he has immunity and I could be next up on the chopping block.
For this vote, for the previous vote, we directed our votes towards Heidi because we kind of wanted people to like get all the attention off Maddie for a bit, and then this time we're gonna go back to Maddie, hopefully, and get enough numbers to vote her out. I think Barrett and I realized this is the perfect time for Alex and Bijan to like switch over to our side, because eventually they're just gonna pick Barrett off, and then me maybe, and then they're the next to go in that alliance of girls on the other side.
The past few rounds, me and Matt have been doing a lot of talking together. We've been trying to set up some good schemes for the next few rounds, and we just decided on Maddie to go to aim for in these next rounds, just purely based off of her skill in the actual challenges. Because as the game gets further, it's more and more important to get out people who are going to win immunity challenges.
Which I met up with Alex and said, hey, we really need to get out Maddie. Like, I want you, me, and I think Carolina, I said, in the final 3.
Yeah, I feel like you're kind of on the bottom of your alliance there, whereas I'm trying to start like an all-guys alliance, I think. So tonight, I kind of want Maddie out too.
Yeah.
And I think we get out Maddie tonight, Heidi the next week, and then...
Matt winning immunity, I think, changes a lot actually, because I know our alliance of 5 wanted to vote him out just because he's a big challenge threat and he hasn't like pissed anyone off. He's probably gonna like get jury votes if he goes that far just because of that. But me and Bijan have talked a lot, and like we are heavily considering voting with Matt and Barrett this week to vote out Maddie. We're considering that before he even won immunity.
Carolina after that if we can, and then there's just us 4. And then I'm thinking actually after that, I'm like been thinking long term to get out Bijan, because he's...
Yeah, I feel like he'd like sleep the jury.
Yeah, and I think I'm the only one who knows this, but I just want to kind of like earn your trust, because I know we haven't worked together yet, but Bijan has an idol
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He showed it to you, or
He hasn't showed me, but he's like, you know, I don't know why he'd tell me that if
that's true, yeah.
he wasn't gonna use it. And he said he might use it tonight because it expires.
Like everyone thought I had it, at least at the challenge or whatever.
Yeah, so he has one, and he's a huge social threat. So I was thinking you, me, Barrett, final 3, and then from there we just kind of, whoever wins the challenge basically picks who goes. But
yeah,
that's just my thought process, and I know that's really long term, but the way I see it, Maddie is the biggest threat in this game.
Yeah.
I made a lot of promises this week for Final 3. I think I told BIJAN I want him in the Final 3 with me, but whatever I could say to just convince him that Maddie has to go and now's the time to strike. No immunity idols, no immunity necklace. I view her as the biggest threat in this game. It's time to get her out.
I feel like, contrary to what I've said in the past, I feel like what I'm gonna need to do now is somehow form some sort of alliance with someone on the other side, which is tough to do, especially since all of this time of just sticking with my original tribe. But I gotta reach out to someone. I'm thinking my target would either be Alex or maybe BIJAN.
Okay, so I believe what would be best for us as a duo would be to team up with BIJAN and Matt. I don't know if you've had the same thoughts.
In this game, it's so hard to tell who's on whose side. I feel like all you can do in securing people on your side is just provide the strongest argument for why they will keep going forward in this game, and it seems more I guess obvious that if they join our side, then it'll be much easier to keep the numbers on our side.
I talked to Matt earlier, and he said that he also wanted to vote out Maddie. Yeah, definitely. I think if we could get a 4-guy alliance, then that should be able to last us. Especially if we can get out Maddie this time, that should be able to last us until the final 4, and then from there, we can go off with whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like definitely if we stick together and make sure that BIJAN, no offense, but doesn't rap again, then I think we should totally be all set.
Yeah, no, like he's like, I'm not sure, because like I feel like you're definitely in danger tonight, and like it's pretty much up to BIJAN.
Yeah, I agree. It's an uncomfortable position to be in, to say the least.
Okay, so option 1, get Maddie out. I'll vote with Alex, Barrett, Matt, and get her out. The reason I don't want to do that is because I don't want Carolina and Heidi to be mad at me. Because I do want to go to the end with Carolina for the easy win. I would really appreciate that. And I feel like she's not going to trust me anymore. But I want to get Heidi out because I don't like Alex's newfound friendship with Heidi. That rubs me the wrong way. I'm not a fan of that. Heidi's really smart. She's a good player. She's going to be good in challenges. So I would like to get her out, but Matt's like really set on getting Maddie out, and so is Alex, because Alex wouldn't want to get Heidi out.
With BIJAN, it kind of worries me just because he talks to so many people, and I just have to learn to trust him sometimes. He's not done anything so far that's made me question that.
I'm hoping it's going to be us 5 voting against Barrett and Matt this week. But I mean, the numbers are getting smaller. We've been voting together for a while now. Anything can happen.
Matt and Barrett, like, they don't want to work with Heidi, Carolina, and Maddie. And Maddie, Carolina, and Heidi don't want to work with Barrett and Matt. But like me and BIJAN are like 2 open-minded ones that are like listening to everyone's perspective. So like we always have all the information, and we always like know which way like is best for us to go. Right now I feel like I'm kind of in a perfect position, and like it almost feels too good to be true because as far as I know, no one's really thrown my name out there since like the Ads Tribal, and like I feel like I've been able to like choose which side I want to go with for like the past like 3 or so votes.
Shit, like I don't know if I'm gonna get vote. I'm sad because it's Friday, so I have 2 days to decide basically, and I really don't want to vote Maddie out because I'm like kind of loyal to Third Eye, but I know that she needs to be eliminated eventually. Oh my god, how sad! This is so sad.
Such a sad confession.
I know. It turned sad. It went from angry and like bitter to sad. Can never be happy. Never. I've actually become a little bit more worried. And last night after the challenge, I went right to the bar. And as I started drinking, people were asking, "Oh, how's Survivor going? How's Survivor going?" All my friends know I'm doing this. I'm like, "Oh, it's going good." And then I like thought about it, and I was like, "No, it's not." Like people are starting to see me as a threat. Like I might be fucked.
All right.
I don't even know who I'm voting out this week. Honestly, I don't know.
All right, welcome back, Final 7, to your next tribal council. Tonight we have a member of the jury here, Robbie, viewing this tribal council. All right, we'll get started. So, Matt, you got a big win this week. After seeing people you voted out, or you voted with, go out the past 3 tribals in a row, you win immunity this week. So do you think that was essential to your survival this week? Or do you think that there are moves to be made, you had options in this game?
Never say never. At this point in the game, I'm like open to working with anyone. So I think, I would've, if I lost last week, I would've did what I had to do, talk to people, and I think winning most likely though was my best option. And I think winning is going to be my best case scenario for the rest of this game, because I don't know how many allies I have around me right now.
I mean, you did get most likely to be voted out next in the majority rules, so do you think that was true?
I think I was next to go, yeah, without a doubt.
Alright, Barrett, if the same 5 vote together, the same shit that's been happening, Matt has immunity. Is it just you? Is that it? Or are there things to be done?
So that would be the thought process, but I feel like in the past few days so much has changed that really anything can happen at this point. Things are in motion, people can have change of hearts. So I feel like at this point it's sort of random chance.
Alright. Carolina, you were the touchy subject's answer for who least deserves to still be in the game. So what do you do to like change your image or change things around so you get those votes at the end that you need to win?
I'm not really sure what I could do. I don't know why people really got that impression of me, but I'm just trying my best.
Well, to be fair, when we voted live, you voted for yourself, so you have to have some idea.
I expected that I would be the one.
Alright, we'll leave it there. Alright, BIJAN, you got a decent amount of answers in the last challenge, including biggest liar, who everyone would like to hang out with after the game, and definitely an all-star. So how do you think these titles affect how people perceive you or how the game is being played?
Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I mean, biggest liar, like I saw that coming. I like voted myself for that. Like I could honestly say, like I've told like probably more lies than I have truth like in this game. I mean, it is what it is. But I tell people who I need to tell the truth to. I tell them the truth, and if I feel like I need to lie to you, I'll lie. Yeah, I don't really know how it's gonna affect me. I feel like that makes me a target, but we'll see, I guess.
All right, Alex, you had some titles yourself in the challenge this week. So you had most likely to have a hidden immunity idol and the dark horse candidate to win. So what do you think of these titles? Do you think they have any justification, truth in them, or do you think people are widely off? What do you think?
I mean, it's flattering, but I'm not really like, I don't want anything that would put a target on my back, and both of those things do, but I just hope that people see that there are way bigger threats in the game than me right now.
Alright, Matt, speaking of bigger threats in the game, Maddie, you were voted the biggest threat in the game right now, and also the person who's running the game. So, do you think there's any justification in those? And if so, how do you stay confident or comfortable in this game without immunity this week?
I mean, I think everybody's kind of been a threat since the first day. I've made it pretty far through the game, but unfortunate things that threats don't really win the game. So at this point, hopefully I make it through this round with the way that I hopefully we're voting. But and then after that, the goal would just be to win immunity because I don't know how much longer it can last with the threat.
All right, Heidi. This game and the votes we've seen have been pretty straightforward ever since Kira went out in what was a wild tribal when we first merged. So when do you see things shaking up or getting a little crazier here?
I think it really could be this week. I'm not entirely sure. If it's not this one, it's definitely next. It's just those numbers are getting down. I mean, Maddie's like even being modest saying that she was a big threat in the game because obviously she is, but I think Matt's up there too. And I don't know, like the numbers are getting smaller, it's getting more confusing and just more everything, I guess. So it's getting tricky.
All right. Final 7, typically a round where a lot of big changes in the game happen, being an odd number. Who feels safe this week? Obviously Matt. Matt, you're not feeling safe?
I say it every time.
Anyone else feel a little comfortable this week? Feel like it's probably not you? No one wants to stick that one out. So who thinks it's they're probably getting their name written down tonight? Let's do that. All right, Maddie, Barrett, Maddie and Barrett. Anyone else? All right, we'll have to see if that's true. All right, Maddie, you're up first.
I'm not even kidding. I did not know who I was voting for until I walked up here right now.
Alright, I'll go tally the votes. Alright, if anyone hasn't been muted, I would like to play it. Now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote, Maddie. Let's vote Maddie. Second vote, Barrett. One vote Maddie, one vote Barrett. Third vote, Barrett. 2 votes Barrett, 1 vote Maddie. Fourth vote, Maddie. We're all tied. 2 votes Maddie, 2 votes Barrett. Fifth vote, Barrett. 3 votes Barrett, 2 votes Maddie, 2 votes left. Sixth vote, Maddie. We're tied. 3 votes Maddie, 3 votes Barrett, 1 vote left. And the 10th person voted out, and the 3rd member of our jury, Maddie. Sorry to say, that's enough for tonight. Please bring me your bandana. Alright. Sorry, Maddie, but the tribe has spoken. See you inside. Alright, blindside for some of you tonight. We have a big challenge coming up. We'll be able to test who really wants to stay in this game, who really needs it. We'll be able to see tonight. See you guys next challenge.
Hey, so what do you think happened tonight?
I mean, I think I've been a threat since day one. I made it farther than I thought, being such a big threat as everybody thought. I saw that coming, so I was getting voted out, but definitely had a good game, good run.
Who do you think it was that flipped?
BIJAN and Alex. I know.
No hard feelings then?
No hard feelings at all, it's just a game.
And you have a good time? Any regrets from the game?
No regrets, had a really fun time, made a lot of friends, so definitely a fun time.
Awesome.
Next time on Survivor UConn.
As soon as Matt loses immunity, he's going home. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Former alliances don't really matter at this point.
All right, Heidi and Matt are talking.
Bear and Carolina, who are you talking to?